So, do you feel it's difficult for you to start writing a novel? Like you have to invent every situation, every character, every emotion. You're like, yeah, because I'm a novelist, right? so, but today I am going to show you how the hardest season of my life and one strange situation actually helped me create my novels. And by the end, you'll know how to find story ideas that are hiding right inside your life. Writers often talk about the moment when everything changes for their character. This is the catalyst that takes place in their life when they are going from normal everyday to now here's a new journey. And it happens because a door opened, a door of opportunity that sets them off in a whole new direction, and hence where the story begins, right? But before we write that kind of moment for our characters, I want you to first of all notice those kind of moments in your own life. We may look at grief and hard situations and strange meetings like things maybe we have to survive. But what if all those things you can use? What if God can use those moments that actually changed you to put down in your characters so that you can change someone's life? Before I became a novelist, I was doing ghostwriting for travel blogs and the occasional nonfiction book. But before long, God was placing in my heart a desire to find a young woman of faith to encourage. Well, I kept thinking about it, but then I put it off. You see, I was raising 8 kids, and we were living in Nicaragua, which is what's considered a third world country, right? And I had walked through a couple of miscarriages, so life was full and heavy. So then, well, then something happened that changed me forever. I gave birth to my stillborn son, James Anthony. And this was about 13 years ago, June. And after losing James, I remember walking through the streets of Nicaragua. I asked God, what is all this about? For more than 20 years, I had been a mom of small kids. And here I was without a baby. That was my catalyst moment. And after the loss of James, I began to ask questions. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? How do I deal with this pain? It was one of the hardest moments in my life, but it was also a turning point, a moment that sent me on a new direction. And so in that painful place, I felt God bring me back to that same thought I had kept ignoring, and it's find a young woman of faith to encourage. That became my mission. I didn't know where it would lead. I simply knew I had to take the next step. A few months later, something unexpected happened. When my son went to Bible college, back in the United States, there was this woman who was constantly giving me updates about him. At first, I thought, why is this woman watching my son so closely? Honestly, it felt strange, okay? And as she would send me these updates, I had this moment of frustration trying to figure out, oh, what's going on? And I was like, God, and praying to the Lord, what does this woman want with my Sue? Wow, Madam O'Brien. And it was like a vivid vision in my story, it was like a vivid vision. My story started coming to life. It was Madame O'Brien and her daughter Helen. And so here were real people, here were real situations in my life, and it began to mix with my imagination. And suddenly, my newfound world, my world around in my imagination, not around me, sorry, in my imagination was coming to life. And my characters felt alive. Then I understood something important. I did not have to invent everything. My real life had already given me the seeds. So, how can you use your own life to write a story that feels real? A story where your readers will feel connected because they are connecting in a real way with your characters. Look for a moment that changed you. Start with that moment when your life took a different direction. Maybe it was like me, maybe it was loss. Maybe you had to move, a new friendship, or maybe saying goodbye to a friend, a new job, or perhaps having a prayer unanswered. For me, losing James, honestly, changed everything. I had questions about my faith, my life, my purpose, and yes, the direction of finding this young woman of faith. Your character does not need to live the exact moments of your life, although you can repurpose those events of your life in a very creative way. And if you would like to know more about that, let me know in the comments, because I would love to create a video about it. And but your character does need to have those familiar feelings that you and I deal with in real life. The fear, the confusion, the sadness, the hope. You're not copying your life. You are just using the truth of what you felt and putting it into your characters. So ask yourself, what moment changed me? Then ask, what did I feel before, during, and after? Those feelings can become part of your character's journey. Painful moments are not the only place where stories hide. Sometimes a character begins with something much smaller. Notice the people who make you curious. Think about someone you met that stayed with you. Maybe they were kind. Maybe they were funny, mysterious, or awkward in the way that they behaved. Or maybe a little strange, like that lady from the Bible college. But ultimately, she actually made me curious. I did wonder why she was so intent on giving me updates about my son, how he was doing. I did not know her whole story. So that was the point. The missing pieces gave my imagination room to work. You can do the same. Notice the people you speak to. Notice what they wear, what they say. Notice what they're avoiding to say. Notice the questions they leave behind, or the questions they don't ask, right? Or the statements, or anything that can give you ideas. But do not copy the real person. That would be like weird for them to be like, oh my gosh, that's me. No, take one detail, then mix it with another, then let your character become new. That's another exciting thing. Your next character may be hiding, honestly, inside a question you have not answered yet. And there is one more place to look. And this may be the most important. Find the question under the story. Every strong story carries deep question. Who am I? Can I trust again? Does my life still have meaning? Can something good grow after loss? After James died, I was not only grieving, I was asking who I was and what God wanted me to do next. That question became a part of the heart of my writing behind the stories. Your book may have dragons, mysteries, families, romance, or adventure, but underneath all of that, your character needs a question that feels true. So ask yourself, what question have I had to live through? You may not have a perfect answer, and you know what? That's okay. Sometimes the strongest stories do not begin with an answer. They begin with one honest question. That, my friend, is the shortcut to helping your readers feel your story. Do not begin by asking, what fictional scene can I create? Begin by asking, what have I lived? What have I noticed, felt, or wondered? Then bring those pieces to the page. Let God use them. Let your imagination reshape them. And let your real life give your fiction a beating heart. You already have moments, feelings, people, and questions that can help you write stories that matter. But knowing that is not always enough, because when you finally sit down to write, another voice may appear. It may tell you you're not ready, that you're not qualified, or you know what? Someone else can write the story better. But there is a way to answer that voice before it stops your book. Check out the next video, because I'll show you how to move past the thoughts that keep your hands away from the keyboard, so you can begin to write with courage. Remember, my friend, you are a reflection of the Creator. So create, and to God be all the glory.